do this to, I think they trolled me a little bit by, yeah, we can see how 12 he's laughing. Won't you stand on your tippy toes? All right, I'm waiting for Megan to give me the thumbs up. Thank you everyone for being here though.
1 minute there.
Babe, where's Larry? He's not retired yet. Okay, because last time I saw him, he said, like, by the way, I'm going to retire soon, and I need to make sure that I'm on top of that if he does, so I can hand him a coin. Don't tell him that. And now we're live when I said that. Okay. Hey, welcome everyone. Thank you for being here. Today we're at Koch Arena. We're excited to be here to be joined by WSU and some of the great community partners that are doing amazing work throughout Wichita. First thing we're going to talk about is financial literacy, which is one of the biggest barriers to sustainable personal independence, especially in regards to housing for many of our folks in our community. So we want to welcome the United Way, who is offering programs to help really bridge that gap for better financial literacy. So I'd like to welcome up WSU Athletic Director Kevin to tell us more about United Way's Coaching for Literacy program.
Thank you very much. Yeah. Thank you, Mayor Whipple. Appreciate the opportunity, and good morning, everyone. It's a pleasure and honor to be with you this morning. Just have a few comments I want to share in regards to our relationship with the United Way of the Plains and our Coaching for Literacy program that we have coming up. First and foremost, just the stark reality that exists in our nation. Nearly 2/3 of Americans are third graders that struggle to read proficiently and on grade level. That's 2/3 of our third graders. Correlation doesn't necessarily imply causation, but the connection between literacy and poverty is very strong. According to the World Literacy Foundation, if students in low-income countries possess grade-level reading skills, 171 million people could escape extreme poverty, and that illiteracy is estimated to cost the global economy nearly $1.5 trillion. That's a lot. So what are we prepared to do in our community? The studies show that literacy really improves health, promotes lifelong learning, builds skills, improves the economy, creates jobs, promotes gender equity, democracy, peace. The list goes on and on. For individuals, it's about self-esteem and quality of life. So college athletics, in particular the sport of basketball, in the last many years has decided to take this issue head on. And we will continue to do so here at Wichita State. There are 30 intercollegiate athletics teams from across the country. These are men's basketball teams that are actively raising funds and designating a home basketball game to fight for literacy. We are in competition with these peers, and we do expect to win, just like any other contest. So Wichita State University, our men's basketball program, have participated in this program for the past several years. We've established a positive impact in our community through partnerships with the United Way of the Plains and the Wichita Public Schools. This year's Shocker Fight for Literacy game is scheduled for Wednesday, February 8th. We host the University of Central Florida at 7 p.m. In that game, you will see our coaches and staff wearing official Coaching for Literacy gear, lapel pins, shirts, shoes, wristbands such as this one. And we will be promoting that throughout the game. Between now and then, fans have an opportunity to donate. They'll be able to donate in game. They can donate via QR code. I'm going to share a website here just real quickly. But your funds go directly to supporting literacy in the Wichita community and USD 259. So prior to February 8th, please consider donating through our website. It's unitedwayplains.org. That's unitedwayplains.org/literacy. For as little as a $10 donation, you can purchase 2 books. So really everybody can get involved. 100% of those donations remain with the local United Way of the Plains. They're used to support those literacy programs in 14 Title I schools that are located in our Shocker neighborhoods in our Wichita community. So our goal this year is to raise $20,259, and the $259 represents Wichita 259. So we want to raise $20,000 for 259. That would put over 4,000 books for young people in our Wichita community. Shocker Athletics will commit to providing student athletes, staff, and administrators to read to our USD 259 students, particularly those in our Shocker neighborhood surrounding campus. Within our athletics program, we regularly refer to a line in our fight song that reads, "We'll fight for Wichita." Please consider joining us as we fight for literacy. We fight for hundreds of USD 259 children in those 14 Title I schools, and we fight for our Wichita community as well. Mr. Mayor, thank you for the opportunity this morning. We appreciate all you do to support Wichita community and Wichita State University. So thank you.
Well, thank you, Kevin, and thank you for all the work that you are doing. So next up, even though it's early in the year, tax season is upon us, and the earlier folks can get their taxes done, the sooner they can get their tax refunds. So I'd like to invite Mr. Frederick, who is the Vice President of Community Impact, to discuss how the United Way is helping residents prepare their taxes for free. Mr. Frederick.
First and foremost, I want to reiterate, go Shocks, right? This is an awesome time. This is a great place to be. We're in Coke Arena. Couldn't think of a better place. Want to thank Athletic Director Saul, Dr. Muma, and Dr. Sherry Utash for inviting us into the Shocker Nation. And I also want to thank Mayor Whipple for sharing his platform with us and allowing us to make a few announcements today. One, I do want to stay on literacy just for a little bit. Literacy here at United Way of the Plains is of the utmost importance. We began this initiative, Coaching for Literacy, here in Wichita at United Way of the Plains in partnership with our university 3 years ago. Our goal is to make sure that we keep USD 259 kids first. Each child that's going to get provided these 2 books is going to be provided a book with a character that looks just like them. Why is that important? I want you to understand it's important for you to see it, to know that you can be it. And that's why I'm standing in front of you today. I saw it, I knew that I could be it, whether it was in the classroom or whether it was in a book. Staying on literacy, I want to talk to you about another initiative that we entered into 12 years ago. The Dolly Parton Imagination Library. I'm proud to stand in front of you today and announce that through that partnership, that initiative, your United Way of the Plains, in partnership with Dolly Parton Imagination Library, has given out its 1 millionth book to kids in our community. Why is that important? Each child that is a part of that program receives 1 book every month from 0 to 5. That means that there are 1 million young people in Sedgwick, Sumner, and Butler County that have each received a library of up to 60 books by the time they were 5 years old. My young son, Gabriel John Richard Frederick, is involved in that program, and I know the mayor's 3 young people are involved in that program as well. It's important that young people like ours, our youth, our kids, are exposed to opportunities like that. But it's also important that we give each and every child in our community the opportunity to live up to be the best versions of themselves. Now, to hit on what Mayor Whipple originally introduced me for, financial literacy. So I want to talk about our free Vita Tax program. This program is for individuals who make $60,000 or less. We can file your taxes for you for free if you live in Wichita, Sedgwick County, Butler, Cowley, Geary, or Marion. I encourage you, if you would like to set up a free tax appointment at one of our 13 sites, please call 211. We will schedule an appointment for you. We will make sure that you get in there. Our kickoff event begins Saturday, January 28th from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. It is at the Brewer Community Center, address 1329 East 16th Street North in Wichita. Stop by, come learn more about the program. In addition to that program, we are also instituting the Bank On initiative. That initiative will be at 2 Tax sites, 2 free Vita tax sites. If you are someone who is in need of second chance banking, predatory lending is an issue here in this community, and it's something I'm very passionate about. If you are somebody that needs second chance banking, we will help you through that initiative get a second chance banking account. The only thing that will stop you is if you have fraud on your record. Lastly, I mentioned this last time I was here, and I just want to thank Mayor Whipple once again for allowing me to be here and talk about this, our point in time count. We want to remind the public that the annual point in time count will be conducted on Thursday, January 26th from 5 a.m. to noon across the city of Wichita. This survey is a national effort undertaken once a year by professionals and volunteers to estimate the number of Americans who don't have safe and stable housing. The results are reported in the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, you all know them as HUD, to study national trends and as a part of the HUD grant requirements. What I want you all to understand is this: your United Way of the Plains is at the forefront of trying to bring homelessness to functional zero here in our community. What does that mean? Functional zero is more people coming out of homelessness and less people entering in. So with our community partners, those that engage in homeless services, we want to partner with them. We want to make sure that we're all working together to make sure that our unhoused neighbors have the best resources so that they can become housed. This is a very important initiative, and I just want to once again thank the mayor for allowing me to share this with you. Thank you so much, and once again, my name is Abel Frederick. Mayor Whipple.
So, just can't thank the United Way enough for partnering up with the community to really tackle some of these issues. I love the plug about the importance of second chance banking and how much fees that folks who are left out of that system have to pay a year in addition to just the cost of living. So really love everything United Way is doing. You thanked me a couple times this. I got to tell you, you're making my job easy because you guys are tackling so many of these issues that really help Wichitans get the type of services that they need. So thank you for all you do. So with that, we're going to pivot into another incredible organization that's doing great work here in Wichita, and that's the Red Cross. So I'd like to invite up Deb, who works as the community volunteer leader for the American Red Cross right here in Wichita. Volunteers make up 90% of the Red Cross workforce in everything from disaster response, helping the military, transporting life-saving blood donations, and much more. So here to tell us more about how you can become a part of the Red Cross amazing team is Deb.
Thank you, Mayor. I appreciate it. The mission of the American Red Cross is to prevent and alleviate human suffering in the face of emergencies by mobilizing the power of volunteers and the generosity of donors. I'm Deb Brinegar, as the Mayor mentioned, and I'm a volunteer with the American Red Cross. I do many things with this organization, including serving on the board of directors. I'm a community volunteer, such you mentioned. I'm a blood driver, and finally, I donate blood. Over 90% of the American Red Cross workforce is comprised of volunteers, and today I am here to invite our community to come and volunteer with us. As we begin this new year, please resolve to volunteer. Your local Red Cross is in need of volunteers in the following areas. Disaster Action Team duty officers. These are virtual dispatchers who ensure timely activation and monitoring of local and regional disaster action team responses. Disaster preparedness team members. These are the folks that teach life-saving skills, educate the community about disaster preparedness, or teach children what to do in case of a home fire. Service to the Armed Forces caseworkers. These are the folks that support and guide military families seeking Red Cross services either in person or virtually. And finally, blood drivers, such as the things that I do. These individuals drive throughout the state of Kansas and the panhandle of Oklahoma, transporting life-saving blood from the blood drives and then back out to the local hospitals. As we roll into Black History Month in February, I want to share a couple of initiatives that we will be doing locally to support our communities. First, we are working with the Greater Ministerial League to install free smoke alarms. Last year, the Red Cross responded to over 60,000 disasters and those were primarily house fires. If you are in need of a free smoke alarm, please call our local Red Cross office or the Wichita Fire Department, who installs the smoke alarms with us. And secondly, to diversify the blood supply, we are encouraging people to come and donate blood. Wichita State will be hosting a blood drive open to the public on February 7th and 8th at the Heskett Center. To schedule your appointment, please visit redcrossblood.org. In closing, thank you for the opportunity to inform you of volunteer positions with Red Cross and some of the upcoming activities in the community. Thank you once again, Mayor, for the opportunity to speak.
Thank you for all you do. All right, thank you, Deb. Wichita is so fortunate to have dedicated individuals at the United Way and also at the Red Cross stepping up and really serving our community. So we thank you for being here. And of course, we thank Wichita State University for opening up their home to us today. This is a much more inspiring location than a room at City Hall. No offense to City Hall, but thank you for allowing us to be here. So with that, we'll go ahead and take questions.
Yes, ma'am.
Yesterday,
we saw on Twitter that you say Wichita firefighters are going to be carrying Narcan with them for 2023. Kind of tell us how that happened, your thoughts on this.
Of course. So the question is about a tweet that I sent out yesterday after a meeting with Fire Chief Snow about our initiative to really take on the fentanyl crisis and the opioid crisis by arming our first responders, including our police officers and our firefighters, with Narcan. So sadly, communities that have been hit hard by the opioid crisis and the fentanyl crisis don't have the policies that match, I think, the crisis, which means that people might actually come onto the scene, see someone who is likely overdosing and not be able to administer the care needed to reverse that overdose effect. Here in Wichita, that is not going to happen. We are going to make sure that we have Narcan-type products for our first responders, and if they are able to reach someone in time who is suffering from an overdose, hopefully save that life so that we can get that person the treatment they need to get back on their feet. So this is something that I think many people think that we've been doing, but the reality is, thanks to the work from Councilmember Ballard, thanks to the work from Vice Mayor Hoheisel, and some of us who have been talking about this in the background, we were able to actually get it done and have a budget for it this past year. So we're looking forward to hopefully not needing this, but if we do need it, making sure that folks who are suffering a possible overdose get the treatment they need to save their lives so they can get back to hopefully a life without addiction.
Will there be additional training required for these responders?
So I'm going to just put a caveat into this that I am not a first responder. I am giving you this information secondhand after the conversation with the police chief. My understanding is there are two types of Narcan products right now. One of them is for folks like you and I, where it is a smaller dose. And if we are to come across someone who is overdosed, we can administer that. My understanding is our first responders, our firefighters, they will have a particular training because it's a higher dose of product, which is good. We want them to have, the top of the line products to try to save lives. But yeah, good question. It is, I believe the difference is the amount of dosage, where civilians can administer a particular amount, but first responders will be held to a higher standard.
Will you include the funding for that as well as part of this plan?
Oh yes. We will put the resources necessary to save lives here in Wichita and to make sure our firefighters have those abilities.
So it's police and fire?
So my tweet is about fire in particular. My understanding is police are also participating in these type of programs. And of course, as folks know, we are partnering with our nonprofit community as well. We just voted to approve a grant for Wichita Safe Streets, and what they are doing is they're trying to be a little more proactive in identifying areas in which there's sadly been higher incidents of overdose, so that those areas, there are kits available for people who might be in those areas so they can respond as well. So I would have to double check with the police. My understanding is that they have done that, but I haven't had a chance to have a conversation with our new police chief, Sullivan, about the administration of that. But my goal is if they aren't, or if they need more resources, then we will provide them those resources, because in Wichita, we're going to handle this crisis head on, and we're going to do it right. We're going to do everything we can to save lives and get people back on track. And so, good question. I'll have to follow up with a better response. But if for some reason they don't have those resources, we will get them those resources.
Incredible final question. It might seem like a small step, but as federal continues to show up in our community, how important is it to work with first responders with this tool?
So the question was, though this might seem like a small piece of the overarching puzzle, how important is it? It's extremely important because, again, those moments when someone goes unconscious because they have either accidentally overdosed or unknowingly overdosed, perhaps they were exposed to this without even knowing that it was an opioid product. It's incredibly important because those moments, what happens is the overdose actually cuts off the oxygen to your brain. So those are moments where your brain does not have oxygen. So the sooner you can get a reversal of that overdose, the less likely you will have brain damage, and the less likely that person will succumb to that overdose. So it's incredibly important that we actually are giving our first responders the tools that they need to bring people back in those situations. And again, there's no better substitute than early intervention for someone who might be experiencing an overdose. So it's incredibly important. Good question, though. And that's why, again, as a city, we're committed to doing everything in our power to address this, including decriminalization of fentanyl test strips, including arming our first responders and our nonprofit partners who are working in this space with the resources they need so that we can overcome this crisis. Further questions? Thank you all. Appreciate it.